In today's tutorial, let's do the slouching at the peak cap. This is the sister of the top peak cap too. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to play with this design. This is called Slouching at the Peak Cap. This is the sister of the top peak cap that is really quite popular. There's a fundamental difference between the two other than the design of stitches, but also the shape. Also comes with a visor, and you can put a button right at the top here just like it was in the original, and I'll show you the original in just one second. You're going to need two sizes of crochet hooks today. You're going to need a 9mm size M or you need both. So you need a size M or 9mm, and you need a size K 6.5mm that is currently in my hand. Two balls of Patons wool bulky in order to make this yarn today, and let me take you through a little bit of this pattern and show you the original design and tell you what the difference is. So let's take a quick look at this pattern. The fundamental difference between this cap and the other one is that you see it has more of a rounded top on it. Other than the stitch work being slightly different, it has the same visor kind of look as the original. So let's take a look at the original here, and the difference is with this one here, other than the stitch counts and stitching being different, it has a flat top like here. This is not a photographic change. This is actually real, and the back of the cap had a flat look to it. So this one has more of a rounded top to it, and I think this one is quicker to complete because the stitches are less complicated than this one as well. But this one is exceptionally popular, and you see the button here. You can do the same look here, and the visor would probably do the same kind of concept of just coming out into the top. It's harder to get that same look when it's laying down on a filming table like this, but chances are it'll look really amazing as well if you're wearing it. So without further ado, let's grab our Patons classic wool, and it's bulky, and we're going to be playing with this yarn today, and we're going to start with our large hook first, a 9mm size M. So get that ready, get your yarn ready, and let's get going. So within today's pattern, we're going to be working with the diagram here. We also have the written instructions as I've already shown you here, and we're going to be playing with this particular design, and you can follow along, and this is a great opportunity to learn how to read these designs if you're following along with this as well. So this is a really kind of a great opportunity. I love these kind of diagrams. So this here is the main hat until it gets to the end of the pattern, and then we're going to then go to the brim area, and this is the brim. And do you see that this is a smaller circle? This represents the stitches that you see on the outside here, and that is exactly how we're going to do the brim, and that's what we're going to do. So let's grab our yarn and let's play. So let's play, and we're going to create a slip knot to begin. I'm using a size L 8mm. I'm a loose crocheter, so I've gone down one hook size in order to compensate for my looseness. It's something that I know about myself, so if you see, okay, well, you're using the wrong size hook, that's because I'm compensating for my own particular tension. So you may have to do the same thing. So it's a choice that's left up to you. So let's chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and let's insert our hook into the beginning chain and then yarn over and then pull through. And now if I did it properly, and now when I go to do that, I'll have the center ring of the top of my hat. What I want to do, this straggler, I want to just leave around the outside here so that I can bury it as I go, and it's just an easy way to do it instead of having to weave that in later. Let's move along to the first round, and all of this is relatively easy when you break it down step by step. So round number 1, let's keep that straggler down around the outside so it gets stuck, and we're going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to go inside the ring for 11 double crochets in a row. So just keep going inside the ring, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2. And keep doing that all the way around. So with that chaining of 3 that you started with, that counts as a double crochet, plus the 11 double crochet that you're physically doing, you will have a total of 12 going all the way around. And it's so important to get that count right the very first time, because you'll be in trouble if you don't. So please go all the way around and get 12 of these done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm already halfway through, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So I now have 12 going all the way around. Here's my straggler that's hanging out. I can simply trim that out of the way. Now you're going to notice that the middle of this circle is quite big. So at the very end of this, what I'm going to do is take an extra strand and just kind of just put it together with the darning needle and close off that center ring just like that. So once you confirm you have your 12, you can be able to count those, just a slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain 3 that you had started with, to finish the final ring all the way around. Let's move along to round number 2. So let's start round number 2. We're gonna be playing with the back loops only, and if you're new to crochet, let me show you something. So these 2 strands equal a stitch. If you go into just one of them, the one that's closest to you, that's a front loop, and the one that's away from you is the back loop. So we're gonna be playing in the back loops on this round here. Some of this stitch work that we are doing today, we are gonna be playing within the back loops, and you've got to pay attention to when we do that. So we're gonna chain up 3. So 1, 2, 3, coming down into the same stitch where you did the join. I want you to do another double crochet. So that's the only one that you're not gonna worry about doing the back loops on this particular revolution. All the rest of them you want to. So what you need to do for the remainder of all of these that are left in the back loop only, so just skip over, go into the one strand that's farthest away from you. I want you to place 2 double crochets into each one of these back loops going all the way around. So there will be 12 groups of 2 going all the way around when you complete this round. So just 2 double crochets into the back loop in each stitch going all the way around. So now I'm all the way back around, and a lot of people think that this last one here is a stitch, and it's not. It's leaning toward here. So this is one of the big fundamental mistakes that a lot of people make right off the get-go when they're new. So you should be able to count 12 groups of 2. So if you just look at in groups of 2, you should be able to count, and there should be 12, and in my case there is. So that means that it's done. So if you put an extra one in here which appears to be an extra one, then you're gonna end up with 13 groups of 2, and all the rest of your hat will be thrown out of balance, and it will be too big for you in the end. So now that you have your 12 groups of 2, just slide your hook into the top of the beginning chain 3 and just close it with the slip stitch, and see, that just closed everything. So that's one of those confusing things. I know it took me a few years to get a hold of that concept as well. So let's please move on. Let's go to round number 3. So round number 3 is about keeping in balance as well as getting bigger at the same time. So let's begin. We're gonna chain 3. 1, 2, 3 counts as a double crochet, and in the same space right underneath we're gonna add another double crochet. So we've just kind of put 2 double crochets into the same space. So the repeat pattern on this one, again going into the back loops only. The next one will be 1 double crochet into the next back loop only, and that's it. Now the next one is going to be 2 double crochets into that back loop. So the repeat pattern for this whole revolution will be the same. So the next one is 1 double crochet into the back loop into the next one. That's it for that one, and then the next one will have 2. So just think about it. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, and please do that all the way around for round number 3, and I'll see you at the end of this revolution. So finishing up round number 3, the very final one will be 1 double crochet that sits by itself, and the reason for that is that we started off with 2 in the beginning, so it went 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way around. Remember, this one last one that appears to be 1 is not 1. It's part of this, and you're just gonna attach to the top of the beginning chain 3 to conclude off round number 3. Let's move along to round number 4. So let's begin round number 4. It's identical to round number 3. We're gonna chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3 right into the same one that you did the join. Is going to be another double crochet. So that means that there's 2 into that one. So continuing along in the back loops only, the next one is just 1 double crochet, and it's just like round number 3. The next one then will be 2 double crochet into the same one. Do you get that? That's unusual to see that kind of idea in a pattern. I understand why they're doing it. It's helping the hat to make a turn to go over your head properly. So the next one then to keeping a pattern is 1 by itself, a double crochet, and then the next one is 2 into the same one, keeping in the back loops only to keep those pattern looking consistent. So please do that all the way around for number 4. So again, as you come back around for round number 4, the final one will be 1 double crochet into the back loop, and that's keeping within the pattern. And remember, this one that's leaning over, just ignore it. It's just there to fool you. So let's just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3. Let's move on to round number 5. This pattern is actually looking pretty nice. So we'll see you in a second for round number 5. So round number 5 is the dominant look of this hat. So we're gonna chain up 3, and I'm gonna start explaining. So we'll chain up 3. So you'll notice in the pattern it looks like it's leaning like this toward an angle because it's gonna create a crisscross. So the other one is gonna be done in the back loop of the stitch prior to this. So we actually have to go back 1. So we wrap the hook and we move this out of the way, and we go for the back loop of the one before. Yarn over, pull through, and then just double crochet as usual. there's no increments of growth in this one, so it's just gonna create a really three-dimensional look. So to do the next one, this here is part of the next stitch. We want to go to the second one over and we want to double crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so that means that we skipped over one that you see here, so just yarn over and just move it out of the way and go to the one that you skipped in the back loop only and double crochet. I'll show you again. So do you see it's creating a crisscross? So skip the next one, go to the second over, do a double crochet. Okay, just yarn over now, just move it out of the way and go into the back loop of the one that was skipped. I'll show you one more time. Okay, so here's the next one, go to the second over, double crochet. Okay, then yarn over, move it out of the way and go to the back loop that you skipped. And continue to do that all the way around for round number 5. So I'm coming up all the way around. I only have 2 stitches left. That means my stitch counts are right, and because the other one you see it's leaning towards the one that we had started with. So I'm just continuing along and just gonna get it done, and then we're gonna move on to round number 6. So round number 6 is actually really easy as well. So we attached it to the top of the beginning chain 3, and that'll keep everything in balance, and now you have a really great feature that appears on the outside. Let's move along to round number 6. So round number 6 we're going to chain up 1, and then we're not gonna worry about any back loops at this time. So just going right directly into the same stitch that you did the join with, and then into every stitch going all the way around you want to do 1 single crochet. So just 1 single crochet into every stitch going all the way around, and this will kind of lock in that twist look, that crisscross look, and it will be really amazing. So let's move along and do this for round number 6. Okay, so that's the last one is next, and that's it. So 1 single crochet went into every one, and so you're just going to join it to the top of the beginning single crochet that you had started with, just like that. Let's move along to round number 7. And round number 7 is again a crisscross, but we're not gonna worry about back loops this time. So we're gonna chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and again going into the back, the last one that you were. So remember, this is not it here, this is part of that stitch. Go into the one there, lean it forward, and go right into both of those strands, which is 1 complete stitch, so no back loops this time, and I want you to crisscross going again all the way around. So again, skip the next one, go to the second over and do your crisscross as you normally had, but without doing any back loops at this point. So this is what's keeping the features looking amazing. So skip 1, second one over, double crochet, and go to the one that you skipped by just leaning things forward and double crocheting into that one. Please do that all the way around for round number 7. So I'm doing my crisscrosses all the way around, and I'm gonna go right to the end. Remember that there was no back loops required on this one, so you got a little bit of a break as far as stitch work is concerned. So let's just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3, and then we're gonna change our story a little bit more. So that's actually, I gotta go right into a chain, not to a space, because then it will be open. So remember, this is a slouchy, so it's gonna be appearing bigger than what you probably are expecting. So if you're expecting a slouchy, good. This is exactly what you're going for today. Let's go for round number 8. It's gonna be quite simple. So round number 8, we only have 3 more rounds left on this hat in order to go to the brim, so you're almost there. So let's begin. We're gonna chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and that counts as the stitch that's coming from. So we're going to go into the back loops only now, again starting in the first one here, and you're just gonna do 1 double crochet into each of the back loops all the way around. So just keep moving along, back loop only, 1 single crochet, or sorry, 1 double crochet by itself. I apologize for that. It's kind of single is kind of what I meant, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. So 1 double crochet in each back loop all the way around. So it came up all the way around. Remember, don't go into that one that looks like it's 1, and then just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3. So we're gonna move on to round number 9. In round number 9 we're gonna then get smaller in the forehead area to bring it back in balance. This is a slouchy, so the back end ends up being a little bit bigger than the forehead area to give you that slouchy look. Let's move along to round number 9. So as I just promised, we're gonna do something slightly different in round number 9. We're gonna get a little bit smaller, so we need to decrease some stitches out. So let's begin. We're gonna chain 3. That counts as a double crochet, and in the back loops only for the next 3 in a row. So 1, 2 and 3. Let's just do it and then I'll explain what's gonna happen. So back loops only, double crochet for 3 in a row. So with that chaining of 3 that you started with, that gives you the number 4 for double crochets that sit by itself. That's so important to remember that. So you got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the next 2 are gonna be come together in the back loops only. So just wrap your hook going into the back loop of the next stitch, pull through 2 and hold. Go into the next one now. So don't finish this one. So wrap the hook going into the next back loop, pull through 2 and hold. You now have 3 loops on the hook. Just pull through all 3 and those 2 just became 1. So let's begin to do the repeat pattern. So in the next 4 back loops, 1 double crochet by itself. So 1, 2 and 3 and finally 4. So there's 4 that sit by itself and then the next 2 are together. So to repeat how to do that, so you wrap the hook going into the next back loop, pull through 2 and hold. Go into the next one. So wrap the hook into the next back loop, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3. So continue that same idea. So 4 by itself, 2 together, 4 by itself, 2 together, and I'll see you at the end of this revolution for number 9. As we come around on round number 9, the final 2 stitches are 2 together and that just keeps it within balance. So if you've been doing your counts properly, the final last 2 will be 2 together and then you're just going to join it to the top of the beginning chain 3. Let's move along to round number 10, which is the final revolution of doing this hat before we start the brim, and we're gonna do a reduction once again. So in the back loops only for the final revolution, we're gonna chain up 1 going into the same stitch for the first one, and you're going to go in the back loops now for the next 2. So with the first one plus these 2, that gives you a count of 3 single crochets in a row. So the next 2 will be then together in the back loops only. So just going in to the next one, pull through and hold, going into the next one, pull through and hold. You have 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3 and those 2 just became 1. So the repeat pattern on this one is that there will be 3 single crochets in the back loops only in a row, and once you get that done, then the next 2 are together. So back loop only, pull through, and then back loop only, pull through, and then pull through all 3. Please do that all the way around for number 10. And finally for round number 10, the last 2 in this revolution then is 2 together and you just join it to the top of the beginning single crochet. So that's it. So what we're gonna do now is that we're gonna fasten off this yarn here. I'm gonna just trim it about 1 foot long, and what I want to do is that I just want to pull it through the loop and I'm gonna put it on a darning needle and get rid of this strand. So we're not gonna go over this particular strand when we go to do the brim, so we want to hide it in right now. So just get that darning needle out and just, if you weave it in and out of your work 3 times, and this is a really thick yarn by the way, so getting it through with a thin needle like this may be a little bit of a challenge. So let me just pull 1 strand at a time. There we go, got it. So what I want to do is that if you go back and forth 3 times, you can hide it. So just coming right underneath the stitches, don't go on top of that edge because then you'll see it. Just right underneath and pull through. Just nice and kind of gently but firmly. Okay, and when I go to do it, I don't want to pull it to the point where it's gonna wreck it. So now I'm gonna go in the other direction for 2, and then finally back in the other direction for 3. So going in and out 3 times like this buries it and you will never see a loose end hanging out. So anything that's left hanging out at this point, you can just safely trim that down and that would be the finish point. So now we're ready to begin doing the brim. So the brim is actually gonna start, the seam line will probably stay at the back and the brim line is gonna move forward so that it stays on the front side of this hat. So let's begin to do the brim of the hat. Now the brim of the hat is using the smaller hook, a 6.5 millimeter size K crochet hook today. So we're right where we've done the fasten off, okay, right there, we're gonna now count, and it says to join it here and then slip stitch, but it doesn't slip stitch on the other side of this. So to me, I wouldn't do that. I would probably just count out the stitches and I'm gonna improvise on this pattern at this particular point. And it says go to the 8th stitch. So just count. So just 1, so I'm going in the direction I would have crocheted in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So right there is where I'm going to apply the new yarn. So I'm just gonna create a slip knot just to join it. Just right there. And I'm gonna pull through. and I'm going to fasten it with the slip stitch just like that. Okay, so now we're gonna begin in doing the first row, and remember it doesn't go all the way around the hat, it just stays on the brim. Let's do row number 1. So let's begin, and if you look at the pattern of the brim itself, you're gonna notice that there's some single crochets followed by 2 single crochets into the same one to create an increase. If you actually look at your pattern really carefully, you'll notice that there's 3 single crochets in a row and then an increase, 3 single crochets in a row, then an increase, but on the very front of the hat there is 4 single crochets that are sitting by itself and then an increase. So you're gonna have 3 3 4 and then 3 3. So right in the very front of your forehead is you'll have more single crochets that sit by itself. So let's begin. So in the same one that you just joined onto, what I want you to do is that I want you to put 2 single crochets into the same one. So 1 and 2. Okay, so bury this one as you go. So I'm gonna take you through the whole first row. So these next 3 will be 1 single crochet by itself. Okay, we're not going into any back loops, just into regular stitches. And now 3 are by itself. So this is the first of 5 quadrants, I guess, in the front brim. So the next one is gonna be 2 singles into the same one. So this is an increase, and then we're gonna move to the second quadrant of making this bigger. Okay, so the next 3 are by themselves. So 1, 2 and 3, and then the next one is gonna be 2 into the same one. So that's 2 out of 5 quadrants. So this is gonna be the third one, so it's gonna be 4 single crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's the very front of the hat, and then the next one is gonna have 2 into the same one, just like that. And then we carry on again, so the next 3 are by themselves. This will be quadrant 4. So 1, 2 and 3, and then the next one is 2 into the same one, and then the final quadrant of 5 is gonna be 3 by itself. So 1, 2 and 3, just like that, and then the final one has 2 into the same one. So that is your first row, going partially all the way around. See, just like that. So you see where it starts. This is the back seam here, and you'll see it's pretty much equal. So let's turn our work and go for row number 2 and 3 because they're both the same. So I'm gonna give you instructions to do rows 2 and 3 because they're both identical at this time. You're gonna chain up 1, and then it's just 1 single crochet into each, going all the way across. Then get to the other side, chain up 1, and then 1 single crochet all the way back, and that's row number 4. So this is row number 2 that we're doing, and then row number 3. So just please do 1 single crochet in each. Rows number 2 and 3 are now complete, so they're just regular single crochets into each. So rows number 5, 6, 7, okay, 5, 6 and 7. So rows 2 and 3 are now complete, just 1 single crochet went into each. So now rows number 4, 5, 6 and 7 are all identical to each other. We're gonna start reducing on one side of the visor and also on the other side. So we're gonna reduce by getting smaller and smaller in the front, and you can kind of see that tapering off in the model as well. So what we have is that you're gonna start off, and all rows start off this way as well. So 4, 5, 6 and 7. So just chain up 1, and you want to put the 2 first together. So just going into the very first one, pull through, and going into the next one, pull through just like this, and then pull through all 3. So the remaining now all the way to the other side is just going to be 1 single crochet into each. So keep doing that. So what you need to do is that when you get to the other side, you just need to put the final 2 together, and you do this for rows number 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is gonna allow it to taper off beautifully, and see how fast I can get myself over there to show you the other side. And it's gonna get quicker and quicker because you're essentially eliminating 2 stitches for every time you pass by when you're doing all of this. So I'm just visually looking for the final 2, so I'm not counting anything. Just makes it a lot easier. Okay, so I can see I got 3 stitches left, so the next one is fine for 1 single crochet, and then the remaining now is gonna be put 2 together. Okay, So that was row number 4. So you turn your work and let's do row number 5. So chain up 1. Okay, the first one here went 2 together. Okay, so just into the first one and into the next one, put those 2 together, and then just 1 single crochet back. I'm just kind of dropping my stitches a little bit. So I just have to just 1 single crochet all the way back to the other side. I'll take you back there because it'll look slightly different because now you're working with 2 togethers that are on the edges, and you just gotta make sure you're not getting into the extra one that appears to be there when in fact it's actually just already leaning over. So I think that's a common error when people are crocheting those kind of 2 togethers right on an edge. Seen that in the Snuggle Sack series as well. We've used a lot of that for tapering, especially within the tails of the creatures that we were working on. So let's just continue, and I'm almost there. I can feel it in the palm of my hand that it's coming around, and there it is. Okay, so let's look at here. So this here, these 2 became 1, so it's 1 and 2. So do you see that it could have looked like 3? It's not. So just the final 2 are together like this. See, and it should go up on an angle just like that. So please do that. That was row number 4. So please do sorry, that was row number 5. So please do number 6 and 7. So 2 more rows of this, and then we're gonna finish off with row number 8 and finish off. So now I've just finished row number 7. So let's begin row number 8, which is the final, and it's a reverse single crochet. So this is also called the crab stitch. So you want to chain up 1, and we need to work in the reverse. We need to go behind, and we've done this on many other examples, but I'll show you how to do it if you're new. So you're gonna chain up 1 just like this, and you're gonna come into the stitch right behind it. Okay, so just insert into the last single crochet you were just in, okay, and then grab the yarn and pull through, okay, and then grab the yarn and pull through 2. So you're saying, okay, was that any different? Absolutely. So let's do the next one. So we go into the stitch right before it. So just go in right before, grab the yarn and pull through, and then pull through the final 2 for your single crochet. You're gonna notice something, and let's do another one. It takes about 3 or 4 before you actually see the design happening. Okay, this is called the reverse single crochet. See these lines? It's creating a beautiful border on the visor of your hat, and you're just continuing to reverse single crochet all the way across your visor. And now that, because you've been reducing stitches, there's not gonna be a lot to work with, so you just keep moving along. And this particular stitch took me a little bit of time getting used to when I first started this one, and I saw reverse single crochet, I almost choked only to realize that it is actually not a big deal. Did an Afghan actually using this concept in the trim, and it's usually a final stitch that is used right at the end of a project in order to give the edging a beautiful finish and a different look other than the regular stitch work of crochet. And sometimes I don't always get it right, so I'm continuing along. It's kind of an unnatural feel to it when you do it, but the look is undeniable. The thing about it is too is that when you go to fasten off, which I'll show you in just a moment, is that you don't want to ruin that look. So okay, so there you go. So that's the last one here, and what I want to do now is that I want to fasten this off, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of an extra long tail, pull up my darning needle once again. I'm gonna pull this loop out, and I'm gonna use this strand here now to hide in the ends and see if I can get that yarn through my darning needle. I think I need a bigger one for this yarn. It's a nice bulky thick yarn. Feels good on the hands too. Okay, so now that I've got it through, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna slide this underneath. So this is the brim. So if you're gonna wear it and you're gonna fold it up, you're gonna wanna make sure you hide in this yarn real good. So you just wanna just glide right underneath the stitches and don't let it pop out in any areas that are really obsessive. And you may want to move down to the actual real single crochet to kind of hide it into position, because if you impede on this, you're gonna ruin that look. So just pull it through. So 1, and if you go in and out 3 times, you can permanently hide that in. Because this is bulky yarn, you'll have a good opportunity to hide this in real good too. And that was 2, and then finally back for number 3. And if all else fails, just use your fingers. So it looks like I've lost one of my plies, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna retry again off camera and pull that through, and that's how you would do it. So you just gotta use a thicker needle at that point. So I'll see you back here in a second for a final roundup. So today we made this slouchy together, and you can see that the brim folds down just like it does on the model, like you see it there. You can wear it so that you have a brim to it, or you can fold it up and you could apply a button right here on the corner as well if you wanted to kind of have a permanent fold. It will probably stay up on its own as well because of the way that it's designed. But I love the stitch work. I love the crisscross look to it. It was really quite simple and an easy pattern to be able to master, and also the slip stitching in the back was actually really kind of not invasive as well. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye now.